Salve YouTube, and welcome to another Total War Rome 2 online battle video. I am Game Reducer, and today I am using the Iceni, or the Britons, and I'm playing against a Roman opponent, Nicholas from the WOC clan. So let's get into this right away. I'm using a very interesting rush-styled army because I expected my opponent to have some Praetorians. He didn't actually bring a very Praetorian-heavy army. I'm not sure if these guys are Praetorians. They don't look like it, but we'll go through the army build once the battle starts. So here we go. I've got 3 units of these. Wow, I can't talk today, man. Chosen sword bands. Now these guys, I brought them because of their weapon damage. 55 weapon damage. Their melee attack isn't great, and you know, people have been wondering, what's the difference between melee attack, weapon damage? Why is there melee defense and armor? Well, I'm here to tell you, my friends. Melee attack is a unit's ability to fight in a head-to-head collision. So, for example, if you bring a Praetorian guard and you put it against this, for example, chosen swordsman, they don't have a lot of melee attacks, so they won't be able to do a lot of damage from the front when they're engaging the opponent directly. But because they have a lot of weapon damage, that means that they have weapons that are capable of delivering a lot of damage. So how do you take advantage of these troops? Well, you take advantage of these troops by using them as supplementary flanking forces. So, for example, if you hit a Praetorian guard unit from the side or from the rear, when they're not facing you completely, your attack stat doesn't play as big of a part as it would when you attack them directly. So that's what I'm going to be using my chosen sword band for today. 3 of those, and I'm supporting them by, well, not supporting them, they're supporting my main line, which is, I'm just going to pause here because this battle is pretty quick. I'm using heroic nobles as my main battle line, and these are really tough units. I mean, they're not a Praetorian guard by any means. They might actually be beaten by some of the other legionary troops on the Roman roster, but they have 48 attacks, 60 weapon damage, 40 charge bonus, and 68 melee defense with a really decent 65 armor, so they're really good units. But the best thing about this army is going to be the cav. These heroic riders have, I think, the highest, one of the highest defensive stats for any cavalry in the game. They actually beat Praetorian cavalry in terms of their defense. So these heroic riders can fight other cavalry and will enjoy fighting other cavalry and will hang around due to their high defense and their outstanding hit points, 90. So let's take a look at my opponent's army today here. He's got a front line of Eagle cohorts, Hastati, and I think that is about it. Yeah, Eagle cohort and Hastati. So no real Praetorians for him. And then he's supporting his rear with these gladiator spearmen. So he's going for a numbers kind of game. At the back here, he's got 2 units of these Scoi Equites Extraordinary. So they are a little bit better. Scoi or Scoi Equites Extraordinary. Okay, so we didn't get to see their stats. So pause and let's discuss. So, in the Egypt battle that you saw, or maybe you didn't see it, if you didn't see it, please do check it out. I formed a little line on one of my opponent's flanks, and then I formed a little pivot to prevent my opponent from coming around my line or making the trip longer. So let me explain. For example, if I had both of these troops up here, and I wanted to engage my opponent's line directly, then what would happen is that my opponent would only have to travel about this distance to get around me. But now, look at these troops. They're going to have to run all the way around here just to be able to flank me. So this allows me to hit a portion of the line that I think is a little weak. And notice that I'm always going to be supporting it from one flank and attacking from the side. And this is something that you want to do against phalanxes or legion type troops regardless. So I'm going to pop my frenzy abilities and pop my headhunt abilities, and that's going to give me a lot of boost, 61 damage and 50 charge bonus. And you can see I'm just adjusting my troops over here, and I'm going to put these guys into shield wall. There they go. At the same time, I'm sending my chosen swordsman from this side here, and look at this. I'm now waiting for an opportunity to use my cav. I'm being patient with it. Yes, my opponent now looks like he's going for a surround, but I'm going to wait for the opportunity, and this is the opportunity. Now I'm going to launch my heroic nobles, and to prevent further flanking from my opponent, here comes the charge from my heroic rider cavalry, and that's going to do a lot of damage to these Hastati and eagle cohorts. So let's get into the midst of the battle and see what it looks like for these heroic riders. Here they come. And we're going to smash right into the back lines of the Romans as our glorious comrades take care of their front line. Look at that sweetness. So now, things are getting a little bit hectic. I noticed that I managed to do a lot of damage to my opponent. A lot of his units are wavering, and sometimes you just gotta pull back. So I'm going to order all my cavalry out of there because here come the gladiator spearmen. Now these gladiator spearmen have a lot of weapon damage and a lot of melee attack and a lot of melee defense, so they're excellent in fighting 1v1. My opponent brought them as sort of a support troop or maybe as sort of a reserve, but really they're best in fighting, you know, head to head with other light troops and maybe medium infantry. So if I would have brought Vigiles if he wanted to, you know, have a spear unit that is able to, you know, fight off cav and take a good bit of punishment. So at this stage, my cavalry is still alive, but the battle is far from over. My opponent still has a lot of troops here in the middle, and my chosen swordsman, I'm just waiting for the abilities to pop, and I'm cycling between them. That's a very important thing. When it's a blob like this and it's a grind, oh, look at this. This is going to be a charge at my opponent's general. But yeah, as I was saying, when you're in a situation like this and it's a grind, keep cycling between your units and keep hitting the abilities that allow them to do damage. So for me, it's going to be Headhunt and Frenzy. I'm going to keep putting them on over and over again. So for example, this unit here has Frenzy activated. It boosts charge and weapon damage. So always go through your units, always cycle through your ability, and see, here we go. Okay, so the game just crashed, but that's unfortunate, but hopefully you guys got an idea of what I'm talking about with that kind of army. Now, Rome 2's replay system really does need a lot of work, but for that battle, I'm just going to wrap it up real quick here. You saw how I used that tactic where, you know, you attack one flank and you try to overwhelm it, and then you protect yourself from being flanked again. Notice that you have to be very defensive on one side, but then be very offensive on the other. So you kind of split your forces up, keep them close together, and then eat up your opponent's line from the side. And that works really well against phalanx armies and even any wider line than yourself. And the other thing was to just show you how awesome the Iceni can be. I mean, I think barbarian factions are going to be way more viable than they ever were in any previous Total War game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Remember to leave a like and a comment. It really does help me out. Tell me what faction I should play next. Maybe there's a observation that you made about my commentary. Maybe I said something wrong. Point it out. Correct me. I'm happy to be corrected. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.